The morning sun rose slowly over the green fields of the countryside, where the songs of sparrows and doves filled the cool air, and the river whispered softly as it wound its way through the valley. In that quiet land where time seemed to move, at its own pace lived a boy named Arif. He was barefoot as usual, running across the grassy paths while his goats followed him lazily. His life was simple. His house was made of clay walls, his clothes stitched by his mother, his meals shared with family by the dim light of a lantern. Yet inside his chest beat a heart full of courage and a kindness that made him beloved by all. Arif knew every inch of the land. He knew which paths were safe and which bogs could trap a careless traveler. Had often heard stories of people sinking into the mud during the rainy season, and so he always carried a sturdy stick when he guided his herd. He was only 16, yet his spirit carried the strength of someone much older. One afternoon, the sun glowed hot on his back as he led the goats home. Their bells clinked as they walked, and the air carried the smell of damp earth. Suddenly a sound cut through the stillness. It was not the bleat of a goat, not the cry of a bird. It was sharp, fragile, and full of fear. He froze, then heard it again, a voice calling for help. Arif sprinted toward the sound. His bare feet slapped the earth until he reached a clearing by the riverbank, and there he saw her. She was not from the village. Her clothes were fine, her hair golden like strands of wheat under the sun, but all of it was half swallowed by the ground. Her legs were trapped in quicksand, her arms thrashing as the earth tried to pull her deeper. For a heartbeat, he felt fear. Then his instincts took over. He grabbed his stick, wedged it into the ground, and shouted to her to hold still. Her eyes widened with desperation. She reached out her trembling hands as he extended the branch toward her. Their fingers met slippery with mud. But he held on. He leaned back with all the force his small body could muster, pulling inch by inch until finally, with a gasp and a cry, she tumbled onto solid earth beside him. She collapsed on her knees, her chest heaving, her delicate shoes ruined, and her dress covered in thick brown mud. She tried to speak, but only a broken thank you slipped from her lips. Arif knelt beside her, checking if she was hurt. His eyes, full of concern, made her feel safer than she had in a long time. He helped her to a rock nearby. She looked at him, then at the village boy's hands that were rough with work yet gentle, as he tore part of his own sleeve to wrap the scrape on her ankle. He offered her water from his clay pot. She drank it and felt more relief in that simple act than in all the luxury she had known. When she caught her breath, she told him her name was Aisha. She said nothing else. She did not say she was the only daughter of a billionaire who owned sprawling businesses across the country. She did not say she had slipped away from her guards to walk freely without cameras or restrictions. She did not say she had come searching for silence and found herself nearly devoured by the land. Instead, she just let him believe she was a stranger passing through. Arif asked no questions. He did not care about riches or titles. He cared only that she was safe. He guided her to the stream to wash her hands. He pointed out stones to step on so she would not fall. He smiled shyly when she looked at him, with gratitude. She felt a strange warmth grow in her chest. The village children soon gathered, curious about the girl with golden hair. They laughed and played around her. Aisha watched in awe at their carefree joy. She had never played on muddy paths or chased goats across fields. Her world had been full of marble floors and guarded gates. She watched as Arif greeted everyone with respect, whether it was an old farmer or a laughing child. He was known not for wealth but for kindness. He showed her how the women wove baskets from reeds and how the men plowed the soil with simple tools. She listened to the songs they sang at sunset, voices rising together in harmony. She could not remember the last time she had seen people so content with so little. As they walked, she asked about his life. He spoke of his goats, his mother who cooked the best flatbread, his father who worked hard in the fields, and his dream of one day learning more about the world beyond the hills. He spoke with no bitterness, only hope. She found herself smiling at every word. Hours slipped by without her noticing. She had never felt so alive. Yet when the sun began to dip behind the mountains, reality returned. A sleek black car rolled down the dirt path. Its windows tinted its presence unnatural in the humble village. Guards leapt out, their suits already dusty, as they ran to her, calling her name in panic. They surrounded her like a fortress. But she turned once more to see Arif, standing quietly, behind them. His face was calm, as though saving her life had been nothing extraordinary. He made no demand, asked for no reward. She wanted to tell him everything, to reveal who she truly was. But something inside stopped her. She feared that if she spoke the truth, he would step away from her, kindness replaced with caution. She wanted to keep this moment pure. So she only said softly, "Thank you, Arif. You saved my life today, and I will never forget it." He nodded. "Take care of yourself." And then he walked back to his goats as if nothing had happened. As the car carried her away, Aisha pressed her hand to the window, watching his figure grow smaller. Her heart ached in a way she had never known. In her world, people chased wealth, power, and influence, but none of them had the strength or honesty of that barefoot boy. That night in her grand mansion, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Her father spoke to her about business deals. Her mother reminded her of the charity gala she must attend, yet all she could think of was Arif's quiet voice, his steady hands, and the way he looked at her as though she were just a girl, not a billionaire's daughter. Days passed, yet the memory clung to her. She longed to return to the village, to see him again, to feel that freedom once more. She wondered what he was doing. Did he think of her? Did he tell anyone about the stranger he saved? She doubted it. He seemed too humble to boast. Meanwhile, Arif returned to his routines, but sometimes, at night when he looked at the stars, he thought of the girl with golden hair. He wondered where she came from, what her world was like, and if their paths would ever cross again. He did not know he had saved the heiress of an empire. He only knew that kindness was his duty, and he had fulfilled it. But destiny has a way of weaving lives together. Aisha could not stay away forever. She planned in secret to visit the village again, not as the daughter of wealth, but as herself. She needed to find the boy who saw her not for what she owned, but for who she was. She needed to discover whether their meeting in the quicksand was the beginning of something far greater than either of them could imagine.